This is Marcus from Mystic Prophecy, and you're watching CMS TV, Classic Metal Show. Hell yeah.
All right. So basically, what he's telling the fans here is, you know what this is, right, Chris?
What is that? It's hard and heavy or something? Is that one of those?
No. This is a bag of dicks.
Oh, nice.
He said, "Eat a bag of dicks."
Right. That's pretty much what he said too. Yep.
So there you are. It's a bag of dicks.
There it is.
Compliment to Ace, by the way. And you got one of these. I know
I do. I have it somewhere.
So eat a bag of dicks.
That's right. If you don't like Mark Lopes, there's a bag of dicks for you, sir.
There you are. Mark said, "Hey fans, for those who don't like me in Metal Church, eat a bag of dicks."
That's right. He did.
So
what do you think? You think he's on point, or do you think the fans will take that as harsh?
I think he's on point, and he's paid his dues in the music business. I mean, he's got a record, or he's got a catalog, and he has a, at least from what I've heard so far as the Metal Church material is concerned, I think I'm excited for the record.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that first song is great. So
well, that's what I said. Just what I've heard so far.
Sure, I can't imagine the rest of it is terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's going on with Mark Lopes. Sorry, none of you heard it, but too bad. It was a real exclusive.
Right.
Too funny.
All right, what's next?
Well, let's see. I can't see my notes. Let's see. So, another band that you like and I like, the band LA Guns.
Right.
They had Tracy emailed out this week, or put out there this week, that Phil Lewis almost quit the band at the end of 2022.
Yeah, I know. I was with them in October, as you remember. I was with LA Guns
right,
on the Kiss cruise.
Right.
And I connected with both Tracy and Phil.
Right.
And I'm telling you what, I said it on the show at the time when I was giving my review of the Kiss cruise and everything. But Phil, the two performances that LA Guns did on the Kiss cruise, just screamed his ass off.
Right.
And it was just like, holy shit, this guy still brings it.
Nice. That's good. Well, he apparently was bringing it because he wanted to bring it to an end, apparently.
Right. Well, the thing is that he wanted to bring it to an end when he was working with Steve Riley. And when the opportunity to reconnect with Tracy Guns, became a possibility, which obviously it did come to fruition.
Right.
He continued on, but at the time when LA Guns was touring as the entity LA Guns with Phil and Steve Riley, Phil had made it clear to Steve that this is the end of the line for me. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. But then he got reinvigorated when he reconnected with Tracy, and they decided to go out as LA Guns, and they've been doing this for 8 years now at least.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But they're apparently not real happy.
Well, I know. I mean, there's always these issues within the band, that there's always head bumping and disagreements and so on and so forth. But regardless of your thoughts on LA Guns, whether you like them, whether you don't, they still perform and they still put out music, and they still and they do have a catalog of hits. I mean, they weren't top chart toppers, but people know them.
Right. No, exactly. So they can go out and tour And they do keep putting out new records that are pretty good. You know, they're not bad.
Well, if you want me to, read the story here, Tracy Gunn said Phil Lewis almost quit LA Guns at the end of 2022 after the departure of the band's most recent manager. In a recent interview, Tracy Guns discussed some of the personal problems with Lewis stemming from the legal battle over the LA Guns name with former drummer Steve Riley. When Phil and I were younger, we had a go at each other on the interwebs, which was very cringeworthy, he said.
Right.
I don't want to go back into with each other. That stems from now, that stems from now that I'm very therapized,
Therapied or whatever, yeah, therapized.
That's a bizarre word.
Made up word.
It stems from a lot of pain that each of us has. We always had a great relationship, but somebody else always seemed to muddy the water and drive the wedge between Phil and me. We had this conversation again because our manager quit at the end of the year. Phil almost left. I got on the phone and asked, what is the problem? He's like, well, the manager was this buffer between you and me. I go, haven't you noticed that every time we get in a position, it's because somebody else is there and being selfish about something that they don't feel that they're being rewarded for? So all the fingers point at you or me. He very quickly turned around and was like, yeah, you're right. The strength of LA Guns lies with Phil and me.
Right.
But again, it's like people get in your ear and they're, you know what he said? You could do so much better without that guy, and you could do this and you could do that. But, nothing replaces chemistry.
Right.
We talked earlier at the beginning of the show with Opie and Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, they ended up hating each other.
Right.
And I wasn't aware when the thing came crashing down in 2015 when Anthony got booted from the XM show.
Right.
That all the hate between the two finally resurfaced because I was aware that those two were at odds for the last 10 years.
Yeah, me either.
Nobody knew it. But they did a show every day for the most part, and nobody knew that they were at odds, but apparently they've not been friends for a decade.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And yet they carried on and were able to perform and put on a morning show and do what it is that both Chris and I enjoyed.
Sure.
But here's a situation where it just works for Tracy and Phil, because they can perform. I've seen them. I'm friends with the guys in LA Guns. I help promote some of their records and things, back in the day, and arrange meet and greets and things like that. And those guys have been, a favorite of mine for a long time. But the thing is on the surface, you would never know that there's any animosity there.
Right.
But apparently there still is.
Yeah. Yeah, something is bad in that camp. That's for sure.
It's personality is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's just a bad scene.
Right.
It's really what it is. But
Lewis touched upon the nature of his working relationship with Tracy in a recent interview with Sonic Perspectives. He said the combination of the two of us, it's great chemistry. There it is right there. Mm-hmm. We do have a bit of friction there, and that's all right. I think the best of them do. That being Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, Joe Barry, it's Steve Tyler, rather. There's something about the Cain and Abel thing, slightly dysfunctional brother thing going on that we have. It certainly keeps things interesting. So, but the thing is that, getting back to one of my favorite bands, Dokken, there's always been, friction between George Lynch and Don Dokken, but together they did, arguably some pretty great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, and it's sad that it's gotten to where it is, to where, obviously Dokken is getting along a little better now, but they're getting along because they don't force themselves to get along. It's just a couple of minutes a night.
Yeah, it's just fine. So regardless of that, sometimes that friction makes for great product.
Right.
whether it's recorded or live or whatever the case may be. And, he mentioned Joe Perry and Steve Tyler. I mean, obviously, Aerosmith is one of the most iconic American bands out there. And they're, up until recently, they've been a staple in American rock music.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And somehow even though they broke up there for a short time, when they did come back, they came back stronger than ever.
Sure. Yeah, they found a way to deal with each other. That's what they did.
Exactly.
I'm sure they don't love each other. I'm sure they're not boys.
Even Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
Right.
They have their issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it for whatever reason in that industry, unless you know musicians, they're just very temperamental people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing with those guys, but it's weird to me because it's just not a big money maker to keep doing it. That's the thing that is always weird to me is that, they do it, but they're not making huge money.
No, but it just pays the bills. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. But there's like no retirement being made at all.
No, not at all. I mean, it's not like they're banking a lot of money.
Right.
But they make some bucks and they play some shows, and I'm sure that they maybe pocket 10, maybe 15 grand a month.
Right.
And that's a better living than average.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what they do. They're creative people.
Right. Exactly. So, well, good on them for sticking it out. They've got a new album coming out on Metallica Friday. If anybody cares.
Yeah, it's called Black Diamonds. It's due to be released on the 14th. So that's right. Up this next Friday.
That's right. Along with the Metallica record, so no one will listen to it.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, my God. Speaking of that, have you seen how they are just dominating, press right now?
Well, I see that they're doing a quote-unquote a Jimmy Kimmel residency. They're
yes.
playing on that faggot show for 4 days.
4 days on that. They have a channel that they relaunched on Sirius XM, 24/7 Metallica. They, what was the other thing I saw that they're doing? They're doing Howard Stern on Monday to promote the 72 seasons, even though they were just on Stern. A month ago?
Yeah.
So it's all hands on deck for Metallica.
So what does Metallica go to the Sirius XM studio and Howard broadcasts from his house and Robin is from her house and they just watch them on the camera or what?
Probably. I'm sure that's how they do it.
It's so ridiculous.
It is. It's dumb. But that's what they're doing. They're going to be everywhere next week. So.
Right. Well, good on them. I mean, here's the band, and again, from the couple of songs that I've heard, I might actually like this Metallica release.
Yeah, it might. Sounds like it's going to be good. The 4 songs have been pretty solid. So
yeah, they're not bad. In my opinion, and I'm not a hardcore Metallica fan like you, but it's the best thing they've done since the Black Album, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to wait till I hear it, but...
from what I've heard so far. I'm
sure.
basing it on just the songs that I've heard so far.
Sure. No, I get it. All right, we got to take a break. My arm is going crazy.
I can tell you're breathing really hard.
Yeah, my arm is fucking losing it, so...
All right. Well,
I don't know what we're going to do here.
Well, I mean, if you can't come back, let me know. I'll just finish the show with music.
All right. Yeah, sorry. It's just... tweaking like crazy.
All right. So I will play some tunage, and if just hit me up, let me know if we're doing anything, and then I'll just play out the rest of the show with requests.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Do you have a request?
Take Away the Pain by whoever sings it.
All right.
No, I don't care. Heaven Sent from Dokken.
What?
Because I might be heaven sent here in 5 minutes if this pain doesn't stop.
Give me some. Give me something for the pain, Bon Jovi.